I've got one, thank you. Yeah. All right, it's actually 3:01. We're going to go ahead and start our Measure R Oversight Committee meeting. I guess we can go with a roll call.
Roll call. Committee member Redwine. Committee member Jones.
Here.
Committee member Armstrong.
Here.
And I'll make a note that committee member Hoon is going to be running a little bit late. He should be here 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Do we have any public comment? Is there anybody on the internet? Nope. Okay. Okay, move on to item number 3. We're going to discuss items related to the Measure R transactions and use tax. Under that, subsection A will be review and discuss the 24-25 year-to-date financial report. Okay, did everybody have a chance to look at the financial report? I guess that's 3A. Is that 3A? Is that 3A? Does anybody have any questions on that?
Do you know if the VA has put in, they were going to put in irrigation and something else they had asked for funds for?
No, not that I'm aware of. This last quarter, there were only a couple of charges that were posted so far when we ran our reports. That was the $12,823 you'll see noted on current month. That's that first column to the sheriff's office. That's the Measure R contribution to cover the new rescue and storage building off Washington Boulevard. So that was their rent, utilities. And some of that was catch up from the first quarter because we were still signing contracts and getting those caught up. And then the $445,000 charge, that is directly related to the paving of the new parking lots, one at the VFW hall and the other at the sheriff's office. But as far as irrigation, I'm unaware of any irrigation.
I thought that was what they were asking funds for, but I just was wondering.
There was
I actually
discussion
drove
that-
out there to look at it. I'd never been out there.
There was discussion, if I remember correctly, for the Veterans Cemetery, maybe it was the cemetery?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we've gotten further down
I
that
think
road.
I think it was going out to bid the last time we were here. I think that's what was happening, and that was what their estimate was.
Yeah, that's correct. Currently, our administrative programs manager, Tony Self, is working with our veteran service officer just for that process. That process is new to him. When you do an RFP, it's a little bit different if you haven't done one before. So she's helping him through that process right now. So hopefully, before this fiscal year ends, we'll have that project going.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions? Because I have one or two. Anybody else have any questions? I was looking at this re-entry services. It's 4.3 parentheses. It's 157-527-70914. What is that?
So reentry services, it used to be called Juvenile Hall, and now it's Youth Opportunity Center. But it's the reentry services is the program we run through Juvenile Hall now for the transportation of juveniles to and from court or from other counties, activities, programs. So those are the positions that receive Measure R funding.
Okay,
That used to be, it's probation, it's the Juvenile Hall,
Right,
but it's
okay.
it's
It was
been
just-
renamed.
just renamed.
Renamed, correct.
Same stuff, different label. Okay,
It's essentially our new juvenile division for probation
okay.
since the hall closed down.
Yeah, okay. I saw that, and I just wasn't sure that it was different for me. Okay, any other questions?
So I will point out that due to the timing of this meeting and the posting of the agenda, we were not able to close December fully for our payroll. So you have not got a chance to see that last quarter's payroll charges. They'll be on the next one. And I'll be sure to use our meeting survey to make sure we have enough time to close our months and post the information. But with the Christmas holiday, the New Year's holiday, we didn't have time in my office to close everything out, get everything posted. So we did have a little bit of a time crunch there.
Oh, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that. Anything else? Any other questions or want to talk about? Okay, with that, we'll move on to subsection B, update on the Measure R projects, capital improvements that were approved by the Board of Supervisors. Were you guys able to look at the photos that we got for the for the paving that was done at the Veterans Hall and at the Sheriff's Office?
I got a chance to go look at the projects. They're awesome for the community. I think it's money well spent.
I think so too.
And thanks for the signs too.
Yeah,
They
signs
look
are
nice, too.
awesome. At least, at least now people can see that Measure R funds are actually being used for something useful.
Yeah, they had a toy giveaway at the VFW when I was down there, and it was nice to have that parking lot. People weren't, and it was raining. They weren't having to go through the mud and the puddles, so I think it looks great. I think it looks really
Yeah.
nice.
These projects are a big plus for our community, I believe. I was real happy to see that way. The only caveat to that is I didn't see any lights over there at the sheriff's office for their parking lot. Is that going to be something that comes later?
Yeah, I'm assuming so, because we're looking at other options for the sheriff's office right now in that location. Now we have quite a bit of area over there that is now paved and fenced that wasn't previously. And I don't know if you've heard the sheriff discuss it at board meetings prior to this, but they need storage space. A lot of our offices are kind of outgrowing themselves, and they have a lot of equipment that sits outside in our salt air on a pretty regular basis. And so that is just one alternative that we're looking at for covered storage for the sheriff's office, which of course would include some lights. But as of right now, it's just the paving and the fencing was the main project, and
No.
those are complete. And I wanted to provide an update to the committee.
Yeah, no, they actually look great. They look awesome. I'm real pleased with it, as we all are. Okay. Any questions on that or comments? Go ahead. Have any? Okay. All right. That being done,
Committee Member Jones, if you don't mind, I would like to remind you that this committee and the board has also approved the irrigation project at the Veteran Cemetery, as well as the remodel or renovation at Animal Services for the Sheriff's Office, and those would be forthcoming.
oh, okay, good. So are they going to be, are those out to bid right now? Is that
I'm not sure what the sheriff has done so far as that's concerned. I know that he's got his plate full on a pretty regular basis, and so whether he's been able to make any progress on that, I'm not certain. I just wanted to remind you that was approved, and it is part of this year's budget.
No, that's fine. I figured that. I was also going to ask about, has he been able to, we'll get to it in the next section.
Can I ask a question
Sure.
on Animal Services? What are they hoping to, you said they renovate, or what are they kind of looking at doing?
Yeah, I think that was their intention, was to renovate the offices. There was $30,000 allocated to that project. I just think that he felt that the flow of the office wasn't very efficient, and then the safety and security of the employees needed to be addressed as well. Not to mention the sanitation or sanitary part of it when you're dealing with animals on a pretty regular basis. So he wanted to make some changes, and I think he's been working with our building maintenance director to talk about what the next phase is going to be. And like I said, I haven't had an update from him recently about the progress on that, but definitely checking with him before our next meeting, so I'll have an update for you then.
Any other questions for that? Okay, we'll go to section C, update on the funded positions for Measure R. The sheriff's office, they have a records clerk and one dispatcher. Are those new positions?
No, this was just a reminder for the committee. I know it's been years since we first developed this position list, and through Measure R, these positions were added just to try to meet some of the demand for services that we have here at the county. It was kind of just a reminder to the community and to the committee the number of positions that have been created because of Measure R, and they're significant. When you look at the demand on code enforcement or animal services or dispatch, any of the records related job tasks at the sheriff's office, without these positions, we would be struggling even more than we are now. The additional planner, the workload when you talk about one planner for the entire county of Del Norte is significant, and it's unmanageable by anybody, even if you were, extremely experienced. So having that additional planner is a big deal, and so kind of just a reminder.
That position has been filled, though, hasn't it?
Yes, that's correct. The only position on here that I think is currently vacant is the dispatcher, and they're running a recruitment now, and I think they're waiting for a date to do some interviews from Human Resources. So I think they're partially through that recruitment right now, so hopefully we can get some staff for that.
So everything on here except for the dispatcher and the clerk has been filled?
Correct.
Okay.
I had a brief question just to clarify. So So those, it looks like about 7.5 positions are funded by Measure R.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that reminder. It's a neat, it's a lot of FTE.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I think we've discussed this a little bit in the past at the committee level that people don't get to see those things. Of course, when you need these services, you're happy that somebody responds. But like capital projects that have the signs that you can actually see, that's a tangible result. You don't understand the amount of services Measure R is providing for this community.
Also in the budget, with the year-to-date budget shows those figures, does that match up equally with these positions? I mean, they may not be filled, I understand that. That's
Correct,
what's
yes.
budgeted
But the
for.
budgeted amounts are, yes, the budgeted amounts include these 7.5 positions plus the wage adjustments in total.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was asking that question. In fact, I think that's what's next on section D, because I asked for a breakdown to make sure that we weren't overextending. I asked for that. Okay, anything else on section C? We have? Anything? Okay. All right, we'll move to section D, which is review and discuss a summary spreadsheet of total obligated Measure R funds. That was something that I had requested a while back. I wanted to make sure that we weren't getting over our snowboard and allocating monies that we may not be able to cover in the future. And I just wanted to, have a quick breakdown on that. I think that's, what is that? That's that. I think that's measure page 3D. Is that correct?
Yes, page 3D is kind of the, it's a summary on the back of that. C.R. Lopez provided the detail. So what you'll see here, and it's kind of, we were estimates based on projections of sales tax, which can be volatile at times depending on many factors. The current year budget, we have obligated at this point $2.396 million, trigger revenue of $1.7 million. Now that might come in a little higher, a little lower. Right now I think we're trending a little higher than that, but that was what was approved by you guys and by the Board of Supervisors. So at face value, it said we've over budgeted our expenses by almost $700,000. But if you look at your individual items, we budgeted, my eyes are going bad, over $700,000 for capital projects. So those are ongoing expenses. Those are snapshots in time. And we've talked about before how we do have a fund balance available for those kinds of projects, and that's based on, being understaffed and having salary savings. So we have that money there for projects, which we're going to utilize it for. And if we ever come to a time maybe with a grant and needs a match of some kind, these monies can be used for that too. So I say right now, if you take out the capital improvement, we're about right on par for being spent at the 1.7 million. Now that number can go up. If we look at one of the pages
Yeah,
here.
I was looking at it historically.
Yeah, we had
it's
over a
gone up
$2 million a
quite bit. Yeah.
year. We had a 1.7. So the 1.7 we put in this year was a little conservative, but we didn't know what the climate, as far as things changing and what's going to happen.
I'd rather be a little conservative and have a little more. More is always gooder.
We were a little conservative, about 10% maybe.
Yeah.
So as far as obligating funds, the revenue coming in, your annual obligations and your annual revenue coming in are matching up. So, and we do know that that's also based on 100% staffing, everything going through.
Right. Yeah. Because I personally was getting a little concerned because we were okaying a lot of projects, and I'm thinking, I know there's a lot of vacancies, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, maybe at some point if we have everybody working, we might be running a little shy, and I just wanted to.
That's one thing I look at as well. When I set the budgets and bring them forward, and C.R. Lopez looks at it too, we look at what are our obligated ongoing expenditures versus our revenue. This year, for example, there wasn't a lot of, we knew we had money for the projects.
Mm-hmm.
If we this year would come forward and said, hey, we're really tight, we'd had to either delay a project or find maybe some other funding source if one was available. But we're okay. This year we're fine, and it goes, come in the spring, we'll give you some new numbers to take a look at, new projections. We can go through those and adjust as needed.
Like I said, I just wanted to make sure that we didn't get too far over our snowboard and try to, all of a sudden, we're sitting here going, oh, great, now we got to, put something to the side, and I'd rather not. I'd rather be a little bit more me, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'd rather be a little bit more physically conservative on what we do. That way we make sure we have enough money, so if something does pop up that we really need, we have the cash there to do it.
Yeah, and if you look at that little modified spreadsheet, you know, your projected fund balance is still going to be over $3 million.
Right.
So that's money that's going to be, we can use for projects, we can use for other items as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And this kind of actually ties directly into what committee members Armstrong and Boone asked about earlier for the positions. Also included in the budget are the wage offsets that have been approved by this committee and the board, and that's for safety positions. When the Measure R was first passed, it was, I think, 11% for the majority of the safety positions at the sheriff's office and 10% countywide for other safety positions. It also was 8% for corrections. And then just recently through the SEA negotiations in their contract, that percentage has actually increased. So you'll see significant amounts right there that say wage offsets. Those are not tied directly to any one position. Those are all safety, all corrections, all dispatch. So all of those positions have been supplemented and given us a better ability to compete in the market by having wages that are a little bit better off when you're comparing to other agencies. So it's definitely made us more competitive, and hopefully with the latest wage adjustments that we've seen by the board, that we can start retaining some people. But I think we've talked about it many times. It's a labor market issue also. It's not just wages. People are just not out there that want to work. I think you see it pretty consistently across all California counties, not to mention businesses everywhere. It's just really, really hard to find people to work.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is Search and Rescue happy with their building? It looks pretty big. Yeah.
I think so. I think they are happy with it. But I mean, you know, our sheriff is actively trying to bring things back that have been, you know, kind of lost over the years just due to funding and due to staffing. You have the drug task force, and you have some other things. Boating safety has kind of outgrown itself also because boats are big. And so when you get equipment, it's hard to find place for storage. So Search and Rescue, although they really, really do like the new location, they're trying to share that a little bit with boating safety as well. And so there's still a real need there for additional storage, additional space.
Which may get taken care of when they go for their shed and stuff over there at the sheriff's department. Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, then we'll move on to section E, discuss committee member term limits.
Yeah, this is just something I wanted to add it to the agenda. As you all know, we've had a vacancy on the committee for quite some time now. Just recently, I think it's been flown, the position's been flown, so we're hoping to get some applicants for that vacant position. We also have a committee member that has reached the term limit, and so although the resolution allows you to go, do more than one term limit as a reappointment, we'd like to see a reapplication when that happens. The initial committee members were given 2-year term limits, with the exception of 2 members who were given 3-year term limits, so they were staggered and they didn't all 5 expire at the same time. So currently we do have 2 vacancies that are being flown by the clerk recorder's office, and hopefully we'll have some new members here soon. And I also wanted to discuss just really quickly something for a topic at the next agenda, and kind of fits into the committee term limits, is that I know that committee member Jones has shouldered the chair for quite some time now. So if this committee is interested in adding that to the next agenda, I can add that as far as selection of a chair and possibly even a vice chair moving forward, if you guys are interested in doing that. I think it's a consistent practice with most of our committees.
Okay. That means they got to be elected. Okay, well, that pretty much covers everything. Any questions, comments?
Just
Anything?
briefly, I suppose that I would have known if my term limit was up. Right,
Yep, you're good right now.
okay.
Well, even,
I
I
wasn't.
think we're tracking that
Okay.
more closely.
Okay. I was just trying to recall, maybe 2 years went by, real quick. Okay.
Yeah, with the change of our clerk of the board, it didn't help things either, because that's the person that tracks those.
Yeah.
And if you recall, we had a short-term clerk of the board that replaced Kylie, who was here earlier today, and now she's back in that role as a deputy clerk of the board until we actually get that position flown again and filled. So once that transition takes place, we'll have somebody who's tracking that, accurately. It's April, I believe. Yeah.
April?
I'll let you, I'll follow up on this actually and let you all know where you're at in your term.
All right. Anything else that we need?
I appreciate the information you guys provided today. I think it keeps us on track of knowing what's being spent, or what we have to spend or can spend, making sure it goes to the right place. Thank you.
Absolutely. I promise that
appreciated.
auditor, controller, and I will not let you guys get over your skis or your snowboard or however you put it.
I used to snowboard years ago.
I just have one related question. The Measure R, there's no sunset provision in there. And I just am still, so proud of our little county for passing this measure, seeing, all the positive things that come from it, both in the personnel side and the capital construction side. So it's nice to know, and then to see these, reserve funds that are there so that, departments and the county and the committee can sort of make plans, make our own way versus grants and other stuff. So nice to see.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot. Makes our job easy. Okay. Anything else? I guess I need a motion to adjourn. Okay, I need a second. Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. All right.
All
See
right.
you guys next time.
Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.